to the YouTube channel, guys. My name is Saman Habibi and I'm a real estate agent here in the Durham region. On this channel, we talk about various things about real estate and try to focus in on the Durham region. In this video, we're going to be talking about what's been happening in the GTA real estate in terms of fraud. There's a lot of fraud happening. And to date, there's up to 30 cases that have been impacted where homeowners are having their house sold without their consent. As always, if you can please like, subscribe to the channel so you're kept up to date with new videos coming out. And as always, you can connect with me via my socials over here. And lastly, my calendar link is also below. If you'd like to talk about your personal scenario and have a one-on-one chat, I'm always available to take that call. Without further ado, Alex, thank you for joining us. Alex is the tallest real estate lawyer here in the Durham region. So when you pick a lawyer, make sure you have someone that's tall and can look down at whoever you're going against. Good looking too, yeah. Alex, thank you for joining us. You're a repeat guest.
Thanks for having me.
Give everyone an introduction.
Yeah, so I think this is my second time
right.
on this video series with you, Saman. I'm a real estate lawyer, a lifelong Durham region resident. I currently practice real estate, employment, corporate law, and some wills in the States as well with MBAA Law Professional Corporation. We're located right in downtown Oshawa, at the corner of Simcoe and Athol. It's a firm that's been around for, I think, close to 100 years. We have 3 experienced lawyers at the office, including myself, and then a very talented real estate clerk team as well.
Awesome. So that's a pretty, I don't want to call it a small team, but it's a very hands-on team. So when you guys work with clients, whether it be with the real estate agents or with the clients themselves, are people able to get you on a call, or are they typically working with the clerk? How do you guys handle that process?
Yeah, so one of the things about being a law firm in a smaller community like Oshawa is that we pride ourselves on being very hands-on with our clients. A lot of bigger firms, clients often complain about not being able to actually speak with the lawyer. They get bounced around to who knows who in that office. We like to reach out to our clients directly. If our clients call our office and want to speak to us, then we almost always are able to make the time to speak with them. We find it builds trust with our clients, and it helps us. It provides assurance for them that we are actively involved and we're looking out for their best interests.
Okay, awesome. No, that's great. And I've had that experience with my clients coming to you guys, and they've had a very good and close relationship with you, and so it's been very smooth. Awesome. So let's just jump right into the topic. So we know that in the real estate industry, the topic of mortgage fraud has been very popular, and it's been in the news quite a bit. Yeah. So why don't we talk about this from a perspective of the real estate agent who's working on a transaction, and from the perspective of homeowners who are selling their property, or perhaps they're not even in the country, but they have this risk of perhaps their property being sold. So yeah. Can you tell us what's going on in the market and what's happening?
Yeah, so it's been in the headlines a lot lately. I think 30 plus cases of either mortgage fraud or cases of fraud where a homeowner's home was sold without them even knowing it. The way it's happening, I believe, is really people aren't asking enough questions. They're not scrutinizing these individuals enough, these fraudsters. And one of the most important things that agents can do when they're dealing with a client who wants to sell a property is to ask the right questions, get to know your clients. What do they do for work? Who is their mortgage broker if they have one? Which bank and lender are they using? Things like that. Get to know them as intimately as you can, and also meet with them in person if you can. I think a lot of the main reason why this is happening so often is because in the era of Zoom and video calls, a lot of people aren't interacting with their agents in person. They're interacting with them through a computer and through a screen. It's a lot easier to impersonate somebody and commit fraud through a computer than it is face-to-face in person. Also, verifying ID, checking ID, and all of that is also very important. And I think the main reason why a lot of these cases are popping up is because people just aren't being as vigilant as they should be with these individuals.
Yeah, and I think from a realtor community perspective, I think it depends on where your business is coming from. If you have a lot of repeat business and these people, it's different. But if you're out there door knocking and trying to get new clients and you perhaps don't have that relationship, I think that's where, you need to be more diligent with the questions and the identification that you ask for. So what about in terms of documentation? So not documentation, but IDs. So, let's say you're presented with a driver's license, and as realtors, we have to fill out that FinTrack form. But that FinTrack form, you kind of fill it out. It doesn't require a signature from the
No.
sellers or the buyers, and it kind of gets stored away. So
Mhm.
is there anything that realtors can do on their end to kind of combat this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously ask for multiple pieces of ID
Hmm.
if you can. And also, there's new software that's being rolled out slowly, ID verification software. I think they're still working out the kinks with it, but the
Hmm.
purpose of that is, I believe, it compares the information that's on the ID, so picture, signature, and as well as the typed information, to what's stored on government databases to
Yeah.
make sure that everything lines up. Um, as lawyers, we're being advised of fraud all the time, and I think that when we're dealing with clients, especially over Zoom, in the future, we're going to be required to utilize some sort of software verification ID like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it. I believe that won't be mandatory until January 2024, so they can work out some of the kinks with
Yeah.
that software. But that's something that agents, I think, should consider as well. If
Right.
you don't know the client and you have any sort of suspicion, that's a tool that you want to have at your disposal.
Right, right. And okay, and then what about from a homeowner's perspective? So let's say, I think in some of these scenarios that we heard of, people were in another country on
Mhm.
vacation, and then their house was vacant and it was being sold that way. So, in the event that this does happen, what
Yeah.
kind of protection do homeowners have?
Well, there's title insurance.
Yep.
That's the biggest one. Title insurance, one of the main areas of coverage is fraud. So when something like this does happen, title insurance is there to compensate individuals who have suffered losses because their home has been sold without their knowing. And the concern I have, and others do as well, is that title insurance, as more of these claims start coming in, title insurers may be more reluctant to want to dole out that money. These claims were very rare at one point. They've happened in the past, but not at this frequency. And if they continue to happen at this frequency, insurers are likely going to increase premiums, charge an additional premium to cover you from fraud,
Mhm.
or they may just not cover you at all because of how often this is happening. So title insurance for the time being is the greatest protection that individuals can have.
Mhm.
Other things they can do are if they have a mortgage, check their banking regularly. Have someone, if it's a property that's being, if they're out of the country, like these cases we've
Yeah.
seen, have someone, attend the property on a regular basis, make
Yeah.
sure that someone's keeping an eye on it, whether it's a property management company, a friend, family member, whatever the case might be,
Yeah.
to make sure that there's nothing nefarious going on there. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, and from what I've seen, I think these people are targeting homes that
Mhm.
have a lot of equity in them. So
Yeah.
they're going after homes that belong to people that have owned it for a very,
Yeah.
long period of time, and there's some equity to go after. So they're perhaps not going to go after a property that was purchased in the last couple of years because it's
Right.
likely going to have a large mortgage on it, and
Yeah.
perhaps it could trigger a warning
Yeah.
at the banks. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's
True. And I think one of the instances I heard of was actually people who were renting the properties, the tenants of the property,
Mhm.
that actually impersonated the homeowners and sold
right.
it.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you're right. If there is a mortgage on it with these properties, it's usually a pretty small mortgage, and the people committing fraud don't care to pay that off. They're
yeah,
fine with paying off a small mortgage, or there's no mortgage at all.
that's right.
In which case, my earlier point was, have someone, if you can't physically be there at the property, have someone there who can check up on it and make sure everything's okay. You can
Yeah.
also install security cameras and things like that, but I don't know how effective that would be.
Yeah.
But that would be another suggestion.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Alex, thank you very much for your time and
Thank you.
spending time with us talking about these topics. As always, guys, please note that this is not legal advice. And if you need legal advice, please consult with a competent professional who can provide you that advice. We also have a disclaimer that we've put in this video for you to read. But besides that, thank you very much for joining and listening to this video. Alex, if people want to connect with you, what's the best way to connect with you if they want to talk to you about anything in specific?
Sure. So our office email is MBAA@MBAAlaw.com. You send an email to that and everyone at our office will get it.
Yep.
Or you can reach us by phone, 905-728-7335.
Excellent. And we'll leave all the contact information in the show notes below, and you can connect with Alex. And again, as always, if you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below. Alex and I will take a look at it. And if there's anything that you'd like help with, we can try and help you or answer your questions. And lastly, again, I've said it before, but if you'd like to talk about your personal real estate scenario and what you'd like to achieve, my calendar link is below, and hoping to connect with you soon.